It's Pastor Mesh. Hope you're doing well today. Beautiful day, beautiful weather. It's been just beautiful to be outside and hang around on the deck and, having to cut the lawn, all those sort of things. The good thing about this time of year, people like to be outside, more physical activity. And I know some friends in the past and even currently speaking that are training for a long distance run. And I think it's really amazing that people are that disciplined to do that. And when you think about a marathon is 26.2 miles, and it's pretty far. Now, I typically don't even drive that far in my car on a given day. And I'm not opposed to running. I personally, I'm not a runner. I'd rather chase a ball, play a sport, than go for a run. I used to run back in the day when I was much younger, and now I enjoy, again, rather playing sports than running. However, as for people that do run, it's not an easy thing to do because you got to train. There's discipline that takes place as well. I don't think most people wake up the next morning and decide they're going to run a marathon. It takes a lot of commitment, and it's certainly not easy. But the thing about training for a marathon, as you prepare for it, there's lots of discipline involved in training and eating right, all those sort of things. And when you actually go do the race, it's not that's not an easy thing to do. And when you go through the race, you're trying to think through and getting through the next mile or so and looking at small bite-sized pieces versus thinking about the whole 26 miles in one shot. Now, everybody is different. Some people like to look at the big picture that way. Others just take small bite-sized pieces. And when you do run, especially for a marathon and kind of that endurance training, generally speaking, people hit a wall. And that wall is right in front of them. It's a mental wall, it's a physical wall, and it's an emotional wall. And a couple of things can happen. People are either going to run through that wall, climb over the wall, or get through it somehow, or get hit by the wall, get knocked back down, and decide that they're not able to do it anymore. And so as you consider that, as you consider a marathoner and how much endurance it does take, and you think about a sprinter typically they do train differently, and a sprinter, their races are a lot shorter, and a marathon is a lot longer, obviously, in duration. And when we think about training for both of those, it still takes discipline to do that. And when we think about our lives, as we think about Christ followers, as we think about what it means to run this race that we're in, and the Apostle Paul talked about how it's not a sprint, it's a marathon, because it's the long game that we're in. And there's going to be times in a marathon where people are going to, walk, maybe take a little bit of a break, hit that water station, refuel, eat some food, so they can keep going. It gives their body the much needed calories and energy they need as well. And the great thing about a marathon too, or even sprinting or an event like that, typically speaking, there's people that are cheering you on, spurring you on, encouraging you, cheering for you. You got your family maybe waiting at the end of the race with a big sign and saying, good job, and all these videos get made, and people celebrate what they've done and what they've accomplished. And it's a good thing to do that. Now, as we consider that too in our lives, that we have people cheering us on as well in our spiritual lives, and there's people around us that can do that, including people we don't even see. And the Bible talks about this, and I'm not going to read all the verses, but I encourage you to go into Hebrews 12 and read all the verses from verse 1 to right through the verse 12. But I'm going to read verses 1 and 2, and it says this, Hebrews 12, verses 1 and 2. Therefore, since we are surrounded by a great cloud of witnesses, let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles. And let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us. Let us fix our eyes on Jesus, the author and perfecter of our faith, who for the joy set before him endured the cross, scorning its shame, and sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. Now, what a beautiful picture that is when you consider that other believers and other people, the great cloud of witnesses we are surrounded by that are spurring us on in the spiritual world to keep going, and that we are called to throw off all those things that entangle us. As a race runner, they're not going to have things on them that are going to make their load heavier. They're going to let those things go that make their burden lighter. And things in our life that we choose to do that can entangle us in sin. and can entangle us and keep us from finishing the race well and finishing strong. And the beautiful part of all this is it talks about fixing our eyes on Jesus, the author and perfecter of our faith. So friends, as you are enduring this life, as you are going about your week, I encourage you to think about the long game and to continue in that race, continue to fighting the good fight, and that you'd fix your eyes on Jesus. And he will lead you, and he'll continue to give you the strength you need. So I hope that as you think about that, the endurance you get from the scriptures, the Holy Spirit, and other people, that we would spur each other on. So if you can think of a friend today that may need some spurring on, I encourage you to reach out to them, send them a text, an email, a phone call is the best if you can do that. Whatever works for you to remind that person that you're thinking about them and you're praying for them. All right, have yourself a great week, and if there's anything we can do for you, please contact us at the church, and we look forward to seeing you soon.